Welcome back to episode 104 of the Disorganized Wizard Club podcast. My name is Alex. I'm here as always with Adam.
Hi.
And Cam.
Hello.
And we're a group of auto-based players that play just about anything and everything we can qualify for. We talk about decks, tournament stories, just about anything to help you and ourselves get better at Magic. Real enthusiastic today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to be on. Is this thing close enough to my face? Sound like somebody.
Can you hear me,
eye.
guys?
I did my eye like somebody who's on something for the first time, like, hi. As if the listeners will just by virtue see my body language and everything, Hello.
Glad to be on the cast today.
We're here to talk about traffic safety.
It's a real passionate issue. We're just looking out for everyone. Pedestrians, drivers, not cyclists, though.
Well, that derailed real fast.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We got some stuff to talk about today. A lot of Modern. There was a Modern in SCG Dallas last weekend.
Yeah, also the face-to-face open series, which was traveling around in Canada.
Yeah, was in Ottawa this past weekend. I got smashed. I played like garbage, and it was a good time.
So you played drawn?
Yep.
And you got crushed?
I got crushed by myself.
Yikes. What happened?
I was stupid, and I didn't listen to myself when it comes to mulliganing, and I kept a couple loose hands for no reason. Some matches I didn't and made good decisions and I won, and other ones I was like, yeah, this is good enough. Then it wasn't.
Man, I hate that feeling.
I did get pretty unlucky one match. I was playing against Mardu Pyromancer, which is a bye. It was in game 3. I kept a hand with like one land, one Tron land, a couple stars, a Sylvan Scrying, and I had something else. But I'm like, if I ever just draw any second land, the hand was insane. And I just cycled a bunch of stars, never drew one, and died.
Yeah, that is all.
Yeah.
That feeling's the worst, though, when you have this like gut intuition almost, or feeling where you're like, all right, I should do this, or, he for sure has the lightning strike here, because turns ago he gave away something, and I kind of feel like he has it, and you know what I mean? Because he like attacked with the first strike guy into a 4/4 or something. You're like, maybe he's bluffing, but I don't know. It's definitely lightning strike, and then you like convince yourself like, nah, probably not, right? And you like don't play around it, and you just die, and you're like, oh, he did have it. Like you talk yourself out of listening to yourself is like the worst feeling in Magic, where you're like, nah, I'm probably just being crazy. Like there are definitely a lot of times where my intuition, for whatever reason intuition exists, has told me, no, play around this, right? Mm-hmm. And then I don't, and I'm like, well. Yeah,
and I just made a massive, in the round I dropped, I played against humans, and I had like a 4/4 Walking Ballista, and he had a Stony Silence, and he attacked me with a Militia Bugler. He had a Mayor in play, and he had just played a Noble Hierarch, and he attacked me, so it's a 4/5. And I just blocked, because he didn't say anything about the Exalted trigger, and I was just stupid, and just wasn't paying attention. And I was like, yeah, block. He's like, okay, so it dies, it's a 4/5. I'm like, oh my God. And then I lost immediately because of it. Because then I couldn't untap, play my card, and get rid of his Stony Silence and just wipe his board. It was real bad. It was real bad.
Dude, you suck.
Dude, and it was weird because he for the few turns before that, he had 2 creatures and was just suiciding them into my Walking Ballista. He just would attack with 2 things, and I'd block 1, I'd take like 2, and then he'd play another creature. He did that for 3 turns straight.
Dude, he got you with the long con.
Yeah, so
I just like the classic outplay.
Actually though, like I just didn't think about the block. I was like, okay, he's just doing it again. And then
oh no, dude, that's actually
a beat.
Oh, dude, that's a beating.
Yeah, I was not, and then I lost immediately because of it.
Hey, but you could buy a beer at this event, right?
I could. I didn't. But
you could have.
I could have. That was a misplay.
If you were searching for solace at the bottom of a bottle.
I was. Because I also
just not at this event.
After I dropped, I did a draft with Cam, and I drafted like an absurd Dimir deck that had had Disinformation Companion, had Thief of Sanity, had a bunch of removal, bunch of good surveil cards, was splashing Underrealm Lich and Charnel Troll.
I don't know about splashing being good in Dimir, but
I had 5 Golgari Guild Gates. It was very easy. But the deck was nuts, and then I got cheesed out by a Cosmotronic Wave in round 1.
Yeah, dude. AKA this format.
Exactly. Yeah, it was brutal.
You probably, let me guess what happened. here. You stabilized with some good creatures, and you were like, yeah, he can't attack anymore. All right. We're ahead on cards. We have card advantage here. We're at like 10.
couple of removal spells in hand.
Yeah, like I should be fine. All right,
I was at
tap
12.
out.
I was
Yeah.
at 12.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
at 12, yeah. Tap out, maybe play this Watcher in the Mist, like get a solid board position, start clocking them in the air. You like tap out for Watcher in the Mist.
That's funny. That's exactly the card I played.
Holy shit, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like the best common in your
Yep.
deck.
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, I got pressure in the air. They can't beat this card, right? And then they just, you're like tapped out. Okay, Cosmotronic Wave kill you.
Guess what he top decked?
Yeah, Cosmotronic Wave
Cosmotronic,
kills
yeah.
you. And
Yep.
you're like, oh,
Yep.
cool. Like,
Yeah.
guess I am an idiot for playing anything but Boros in this draft format. Unless
Yeah.
you're Cam, where everybody gets debated because you were also at this.
That wasn't this draft. That was
Oh.
the second one.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah. Stelly had this wonderful experience and didn't want to do another one, so he left and I
I
stayed
left.
for a second.
You're like,
I had
I've seen enough.
Yeah. I had enough magic for that day.
Yeah, there was a bunch of us. So at the second draft, we all got bamboozled by each other. So I hadn't drafted Boros yet in the format. I've still only done like 3 or 4 drafts. But I heard from like Adam and a bunch of other people that it's really good. And so I figured, because I opened a True Fire Captain, pack
Yeah,
one,
that card's real good.
that I would try it. My rare was a Connive Concoct, but like it was True Fire Captain and Maniacal Rage were the only red cards in the pack, and everything else was blue-black. So I figured it's just like a side event draft. I want to try forcing Boros, and the people to my left will probably be in blue-black, so I can force Boros. But no, the people to my left and right also opened very good red-white cards pack one, and they all forced it too.
Nice.
And none of us had good decks, and we all got smashed by like the green and blue-black players on the other side of the table.
Man. We had a rough weekend.
I mean, my draft one went fine. Just beat up on people with like Abzan 6 drops.
Yeah.
Wow, you get the cast 6 drops. Oh, my 6 drops.
Yeah, I had Light of the Legion and
Cam,
Indrik
6
and-
drops. I was supposed to cast these in Healer Hawk format.
I don't know. My opponents weren't hawking me.
Oh, see, they're just playing wrong. Hawk overall. You just cast Hawk on one. Opponent scoops.
I mean, I
Turn
played
one
against one
Baneslayer.
Boros deck.
Your turn.
I just like dead weighted something early and then it was fine.
Yeah, if you have dead weights. Dead weight is just a mythic removal spell in this
Yeah, it's
format.
really good.
Because like Skylight attacks like Skylight Legionnaire, Healer Hawk, unless they Maniacal Rage the Hawk, then it's legit. You just get Slayer Angel, like you're just dead.
You're so dead.
Dead, just incredibly dead. So Unexplained whatever disappearance is actually a pretty good card in this format because like that's a real thing. Also, it can just take away the counters from a mentor thing once you've like established some board control.
That's true.
That card's actually quite good in this format. So I was making the case for Dazzling Lights too, right?
Yeah.
I think that card's actually really good. Really, really good. Because like the best Dimir decks are going to have to be full on synergy. They can't just be like good cards. They can't just be a pile of good cards because those don't exist. Like we're mostly going to talk about Modern, but I think this bears like mentioning in the podcast for people who are drafting. Like good Dimir cards on their own don't exist. They don't exist in a vacuum. You know what I mean? Because the commons in other colors can't beat Boros commons. Wojak Bodyguard is going to kick you about. Like it's going to smash you, like because none of your 3 drops are as good as that card. Man, maybe besides Whispering Agent, that card's insane.
But even then, like Whisper Agent, you're trading, like if you flash it in and block the Bodyguard, you're trading a Surveilled 1 for a +1/+1 counter.
A counter on their Fresh Face Recruit that you're now never blocking.
And that counter is going to be worth way more in that game than your 1 Surveil.
Yeah, that's the issue. So if you're drafting the blue-black deck, it needs to have, Whispering Snitch, Spy Bugs, Thoughtbound Phantasms. Like it has to have all these cards. And so I think, and Disinformation Campaign is really important because it's how you just auto win versus the Celestia deck sometimes. Because they need all their pieces, right? So I think Dazzling Light is actually quite strong because it lets you, for example, say block, their Wojak Bodyguard with your Thoughtbound Phantasm and get the trigger and it trades for it. It dies.
Yeah.
So countering a Sure Strike can be important. I think it's actually really good. It's surprisingly strong in this format, and we were talking about this too. No one plays around it.
No one ever plays around it.
It could counter.
It's 1 blue.
Yeah.
It could counter the Cosmotronic Wave turn. They're short by 3 points, and you kill them on the crackback.
Yeah, no, I mean it does a lot. Like because Boros is a deck that just sort of is assertive and confident it will win combat, right? And if you can sort of disrupt their flow of committing to the board, attacking, putting counters in any way, you can have a good chance. The problem is, like, I'm saying Whispering Snitch is good, but then it's a 1/3, which is basically just garbage against Boros. In some cases, like if they have Mentor.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't, it's good,
As long as you can get out of the early game, though, and not be like dead to Cosmotronic Wave, their top decks are bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so are yours. Creatures in this format just suck. They're small.
Yeah, but you can draw Watcher in the Mist.
That card is great.
Yeah.
How good is Disinformation Campaign in Limited, though?
That card's so good. The card's so good. I love that card.
It's foolish, eh?
It's just so unbelievably good.
It's so ridiculous. I'd forgotten about it in Standard, and then I was playing, and someone was playing Grixis Fake News, and they got me, and I was like, huh. I'm dead. Like, I'm never coming back from this.
The difference between how much each player in a game enjoys that card is so large.
Oh, yeah.
Larger than any other card.
Yeah, that is a zero-sum fun, poster child card, right? It's
No, not even that. It's positive sum for the person playing it. It takes way more enjoyment out of the game from your
well,
opponent.
does that mean zero-sum fun?
Than just landing. No, it adds up to extra for the person playing it.
I'm having all the fun and then some?
Yeah.
So I'm having all their possible fun?
And some extra.
And some extra just from the ether?
Yeah.
Just pulled from...
No, because they're suffering more than possible.
Yeah, that card is miserable. It's actually miserable to lose to in Limited too. Like, it's a miserable card. I think it's actually I actually think this format sucks because it's like the best strategies are Fake News, Disinformation Campaign, and Mentor. So if you're behind that's
yeah. Well, you're ranting on the car right here. Why don't you go off? tell me why this format sucks.
It's just,
I liked your first point about Golgari.
Oh, the design problem. Yeah. It's a design thing. So at least it's okay, sort of, in the sense that its cards and its mechanic and Jumpstart do stuff on their own, kind of. But sometimes, like, the draw cards, Radical Idea, but there are cards that don't.
Yeah.
The problem is you need creatures. The problem is if you're forced in a situation where you have to block early or ever have to trade creatures, now the rest of your deck is just offline. Whereas the Boros deck can just play all creatures and then, like, I don't know, some generic removal, it doesn't really matter, and smash. Their fail state of their mechanic is just a creature. You know what I mean? Of Mentor. So they're just benefited by just playing the game and attacking. It's like, Risk, the board game, right?
Yeah.
That game's terrible because there's only one strategy and it's to attack, right? You know this? Like,
I've never played it seriously.
Yeah, it's awful. Like, it's a bad game because you're incentivized only to attack, essentially.
Yeah, having more territories rewards you, like, exponentially.
And also you get bonuses for having made attacks and stuff, right? So you essentially have to attack. The rules of the game sort of mechanics encourage you to just do this. Similarly, with Boros, you're just forced to do that. And 1-drops are good in Boros because a Healer Hawk gets turned into a 2/2 super easily. So 1-mana 2/2 flyer with lifelink's insane. It's just really punishing, right?
Yeah.
And its mechanic just in its natural state is really powerful. Dimir is like, I don't know, it's whatever. It's like obviously more skill intensive because it's easier to screw up, right? You over surveil the wrong things. There's more decisions involved of just like Miko face, right? Just smork. And then the problem is so the enablers are sort of built into the cards, at least for Dimir. But the problem is with Golgari, like you were mentioning, is that on the card here, I was like, what's the enabler for Undergrowth?
Glow Spar Shaman.
So the entire enabler for an entire archetype, an entire color combination for their mechanic in Limited is one uncommon. That's pretty medium.
And
that only
Dimir,
mills
and
like a
Dimir
couple
cards.
cards. Right, and Dimir and Surveil cards.
Yeah.
So, which, that's not good. Because what if you need that card? Or you are binning it just to have Undergrowth? You know what I mean? The it's just so poorly designed. Green-black is just unplayable. So the format is just not well designed, I don't think. I think it's very poorly designed from a game design perspective. But I think it's so fun. You know what I mean? Like, a set can be really poorly... Like, we were talking about this as well. Like, Ixalan, just pure Ixalan draft, not Rivals Ixalan, but just Ixalan itself draft, was well designed as far as its mechanics and structure, but the gameplay was not fun. The gameplay was miserable because it was like Merfolk was busted or you won with the Wind People.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And just wasn't fun.
But this format, the games are actually
I think they're pretty fun.
But
yeah.
Does that debunk your point, though, about poor design? Can it be poorly designed but still fun?
Yes.
If it's fun, does that mean...
But I mean, I think it's fun. Fun's subjective. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's fun. Some people are probably... And I know I'm going to get sick of it real soon. Like Keeler Hawk on 1. Yeah. It's going to get old. I bet there are listeners who are like, yeah, I don't even bother drafting. Let's say you're playing Arena, right? Or single game. You're just going to play 7 Boros decks in a row. That's all it is. So that's not fun anymore.
I mean, look at the last format that had this problem. It was the last standard format. Green wasn't really a color. One deck was an aggressive deck that was clearly far and away the best. And yeah, it just checked everybody out. Everyone stopped playing standard.
Yeah. And so I think that'll happen. Like, I think the format's fun, but I don't think it lasts because, I don't know, like, I think it's going to eventually get annoying of like, oh, I can't play. Like, there's these sweet cards, District Guide, Circuitous Route, Gates, that I could draft these like 5-color barnyards and it could be hilarious. But you can't. Because you're just going to get absolutely dumpstered by a streamlined Boros deck.
Yeah.
Absolutely dumpstered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, I think on design, like when half of your format is unplayable,
that's not really what you want.
Yeah.
At all.
I don't think that's what they meant to do either. I don't think they realized it'd be this bad. But hey, what are you going to do? The thing is, at least in paper, things will happen like the crab bucket situation with everyone forcing Boros and Cam's draft, right?
Yeah.
So that'll kind of balance it out. But it's just, the level of power at the commons are not, it feels unbalanced. But maybe I'm misreading the situation. I don't think I am. I think at the Pro Tour, we're going to see this.
Is this from Arena, though? Because like, you still draft against bots, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. But even on like Moto, it's like similarly like Boros is similarly problematic. Like for people, it's not like Healer Hawk is less good.
But I'm saying Boros is also, or not Boros. Moto is leagues now, right? So you're drafting out of pod.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you're going to see and play against way more Boros deck drafting cross pod than you would at in-pod drafts at other events.
Yeah, in real paper events, you'll play against less Boros decks for sure. But the Boros deck is still going to be a problem.
Yeah, I agree. It's just...
Yeah. And also, I just think, I'm just speaking broadly from a design perspective, that Golgari, I just think it's really lazy work. That I think what happened is something changed, right?
Yeah.
I think they did give you what you wanted, Stelly.
You mean they gave me a good enabler?
They gave you like Wayfinder.
Yeah.
And then they realized it was too good in limited or something, and then they took it away. Because I just don't understand how they think it was okay for a mechanic to have one enabler at uncommon, and that's it. I just don't see it, and then print a 4-mana 0/0.
Yeah.
Undergrowth creature. I just don't.
Maybe they didn't expect
at uncommon.
Maybe they honestly didn't expect it to be a 2-color limited format, and they expected it to be like Sultai Undergrowth.
Yeah, I think maybe that's probably because I thought it would be as well, and I still think it would be if it wasn't for the fact that,
because if that's what you expect, and then you also don't think the Boros deck is going to be this good, then it makes sense that everything's going to be 3 colors. Like,
yeah. Also, it is still that way in Sealed. In Sealed, the 9-0 decks from like the limited tournaments have been 3-color, and then like a person who opened the nut Boros. But otherwise, they have been 3 colors. So in Sealed, it has been that.
Yeah.
But in Draft, it hasn't. So it's just, they're just different forms. They're just, maybe this is one of the sets where like we just have radically different formats between Sealed and Draft. They're actually just completely different.
Maybe they just have less than 8 playtesters and they only tried Sealed.
Yeah, they just had 4 people. They just opened 6 packs. All right, let's get it.
Well, this format's sweet.
I don't know. Pretty long rant about limited, but it's interesting, I think. Like, I think the game design, kind of philosophy behind it is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if on Arena they'll ever, because they balance, it's not against humans and it's versus bots, I often wonder if they'll do what Hearthstone does, which is they say, oh, okay, like, eventually what they do in Hearthstone in Arena, which is their love for version of Draft for people who don't know, and it's against bots or whatever, it's just random cards and you pick, right?
Yeah.
And what they do is they balance the power level of commons and then adjust to their availability. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that's what they do for Arena.
So they have like mythic commons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll have like, okay, like Whisper Agent is, a 9 out of 10 common. So it appears less, less likely to appear than whatever. Or like bots will take it higher, I guess would be the Magic equivalent instead of Hearthstone. It's appear less, but bots will take it higher. And they kind of do that already, but not very well. But yeah, so they they need to fix that, right? Because that's
Yeah,
the problem is that Phil and I were joking that on Arena, at least, you can get last pick geared for battles.
Yeah.
That's I don't. Have you played that card?
Yeah.
You know what they should do to hashtag pay the pros? They should hire pros to come in and sit in front of like 20 monitors and just, they draft.
Be the bots.
Yeah.
Be the bot you want to see in the world.
Yeah. So everyone at your table is like Finkel, Reed, Duke, etc. You draft against them, but you don't play matches against them. You go play against other people, but they just over and over at multiple monitors at once just make draft picks.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been drafting a lot on Arena where it's different, but on Moto as well, like draft and it's, I don't know. I haven't drafted much on paper, so I don't know how much different it is, but from a design perspective, I think you can see this is the problem, but Sealed Limited a lot different. I don't know. Still fun though, and it's still cool, like, and it's still interesting, and I think people will adjust.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how the Pro Tour goes. It's one of the few Pro Tours where I think I'll watch all the limited rounds and the drafts.
When is it?
You know what? Oh, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Just when is the Pro Tour?
2 weeks from now, I think. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's 6 weeks, right? I believe it's 6 weeks into a format.
Yeah.
So it should be like November 14th-ish.
I'm going to be in Seattle.
When are we going to Toronto?
For what? Oh, that's the weekend after. Because I'm in Seattle, and then the next weekend we're going to Toronto.
Like the 17th or something?
Yeah.
We're in Toronto?
Something like that, 15th or 17th.
Okay.
Yeah, November 9th to 11th.
Oh, okay. You're going to be in Seattle?
Yeah.
F.
Well, I can just go to Wizards.
Oh, yeah. In Renton or whatever it is. But, yeah, I'm actually, you know what? This change in the Pro Tour is really sweet. That it's moved back because of all this time. And now I'm actually excited. I think it's really sweet to give people the time to do their own thing with the format and then have the Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really, because that's probably also why I'm excited to watch a limited at this Pro Tour.
And I mean, Standard is so fantastic right now. It's going to be really cool to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people show up with tons of stuff too. I think the Standard Pro Tour will have a ton of green black.
Yeah, of course.
Like a ton, because it's like quote unquote the most popular deck. I don't even want to say it's the best deck because I don't think it is.
Is there a best deck
Nope.
right now?
I have heard every opinion about every archetype.
Yeah, exactly.
For any list, someone thinks it's amazing and can't lose with it. Someone can't win with it and thinks it's garbage.
Yeah.
Again, and I'm probably going to now start just saying this every single time, is that I think this is just a matchup dependent format.
Mm-hmm.
Your standard deck looks sweet if you roll high on your matchups.
You saying Standard's turning into Modern?
Yeah.
It's diverse. Matchups are super dependent.
But you can adjust to fix it, whereas in Modern, sometimes you can't.
You can try.
Yeah, I mean, someone did it this weekend.
Yeah. SCG Dallas won by 4-color Death Shadow. Not a deck we've seen put up results very recently. In a field filled with Dredge, Tron, and Control.
Yeah, this was the original, like, sort of philosophy behind building Death Shadow, is that it was just in, like, decks with Goyf and Traverse. They were, what's the mechanic? I'm blanking. The one on Traverse. Starts with a D. Not Dementia.
What?
What's the four card types in your graveyard? What's that mechanic called?
Delirium.
Delirium. See, I was close. Dementia.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's almost.
Yeah, they were like Delirium decks, and then they like refined themselves and moved to 3 colors. But ever since then, every once in a while, like one will crop up that's got Goyfs in it again, and here it is.
Yeah, the deck looks sweet. Let me tell you, Tarfire.
How many opponents do you think played around?
You'll love to see Tarfire winning a tournament in the year of our Lord 2018.
How many opponents do you think played around this Gore Clan Rampager? The one of.
Probably 0.
Yeah, right? That's why it's sweet.
Yeah, definitely. Assassin's Trophy sideboard winning its first Modern tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big news.
Hey,
Yeah.
big win. Big win. You know what? Just busted card.
It's good with Goyf.
It's
because
in the board.
It can put any permanent type into the graveyard.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think about that. That is a combo. But on the note of Tron being dead, did finish 4th in this tournament.
But that card killed that. I don't.
He did lose to that deck though, so I don't know.
That's actually kind of surprising. But I think this guy's version of Death Shadow actually is built pretty. I think it's built pretty well to beat Tron actually. Normally, because I think that they don't have a good Tron matchup normally. Like Grixis Shadow doesn't have a good Tron matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Having been on the receiving end of you playing Tron while I'm playing Grixis, let me tell you, it doesn't feel good. But I think Goyf helps a lot.
Goyf is a beating.
Plus the full 8 discard spells here
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, it's
And traverse. Like just being able to traverse and have threats right away if you need it. I don't know. Like and kill you with Battle Rage.
yeah, like having pressure backed up by disruption backed up by pressure is a good way to beat Tron.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So
It just has less air.
yep.
Like this version just isn't playing Sarah Visions. Like it's just not playing air. Everything is either a removal spell or a threat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess Bauble's an air, but hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of a threat because your Goyfs are bigger.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it cycles. It's a free cycler.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I like this deck. I think it's cool.
I like that it's playing Lily of the Veil too. I think it's very good.
Yeah. But Dredge had a big weekend this weekend. Lots of people playing Dredge. Lots of Dredge at the top tables of this tournament.
Were they all Creeping Chill Dredge?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a huge
That's the
upgrade.
only version now.
Yeah, there is no
Yeah.
other Dredge.
Yeah.
Good
I
to
know one of our listeners, James, said the same thing, right?
Yeah.
That Creeping Chill is just
Yeah, like a
huge
massive upgrade.
Yeah, he said it's just a massive upgrade, and he's been grinding it a lot. I know another listener has been Trevor as well, has been playing Dredge. They're all just Creeping Chill versions.
Yeah. I don't know.
What are the sideboard? I'm curious what their sideboard hate is for Rip. There's probably it's modern, so I bet there's some wacky card we're not even thinking of.
Nature's Claim, Assassin's Trophy.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of claims. That's probably what you want.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's
this
got 4
guy
claims.
just Nature's Claim. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, deck's so good, so powerful.
Just doing busted stuff. I
Oh,
don't know.
Alex Jones. What?
It's Alec.
Yeah, I know.
Did you get a little excited?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I guess after he got deplatformed,
Just started playing Magic.
yeah. People cosplay events. It's just him in that tinfoil ad gif,
That's not a cosplay though. That's just what he wears.
Yeah. All right. What is the other one playing in sideboard to beat Rip?
It was just Trophy and
It's
Nature's
just the
Claim.
same?
Yeah.
They're both playing the same thing?
Well, the other guy wasn't playing Trophy,
Yeah.
but
Look at Assassin's Trophy. Taking over formats
yeah.
in sideboards. That's 2-ofs.
Yep.
$30 2-of sideboard card.
Is that unusual for Modern?
Yeah. I mean, when it's this new, you know what I mean? It's
Sure,
not seeing
it's not
play
new.
anywhere else. And like the green black is the best color combination.
Yeah, but
in
like
standard.
Explosive Engineers is what, like a $50 2 of sideboard
Yeah.
card?
It is cheap for a modern sideboard card.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like, how much do these ley lines of the void cost right now?
Oh, I don't want to know. How much are they? I do want to know.
Let's find out.
I definitely want to know.
Oh man, I'm scared. $59.99 US dollars.
That's a lot of dollars.
That is that's a lot of dollars. Wow.
Modern's outrageous.
Can you lose if you just put the most expensive cards in your sideboard?
No, that's how it works, remember?
Yeah.
No, it's pay to win.
That's why you had the Goyfs in your sideboard for Tron.
Yeah. That card is really good.
Goyf?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good card.
Man, that card's good. It just like was giving a beating to my first round blue-white control opponent. Man, the card's good.
Yeah, it brings the beats.
Yeah.
Goyf man is a big man.
Yeah. I did enjoy it.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of, that's I think why the Death Shadow list was good, right? Is that it adjusted and realized what the problem with Shadow was and turned itself more towards the rock approach as opposed to the sort of tempo approach that Death Shadow normally takes, right? Death Shadow in Modern is a mid-range deck.
Yep.
Always has been, always will be, right?
Mhm.
And it's the most efficient mid-range deck. It's probably the only real playable mid-range deck.
Yeah.
Despite what people want to believe that Jund or like other rock decks are playable, I'm not really sure they are.
What happened to Pyromancer?
I'm not sure that deck's playable.
Yeah, but why? What happened? Was it just never good and people finally learned, or?
I think it was good when it was like just humans in the format, but it has a bad Tron matchup, right?
Yeah. A lot
Yeah.
more people are playing Tron now.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot more people have finally just accepted Karn into their hearts.
Yeah. Accepted our Lord and Savior. Karn liberated.
But yeah, because I think for a long time people didn't really realize how good Tron was and just wouldn't play it. People just, I think it's because of the way the deck kind of functions. But yeah,
Well, it's just universally hated, and people have morals, I guess.
yeah, people associate like ethical. I think maybe,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
And well, it's also I think one of the things that you talked about this a lot, and this is one of the things we were talking about with the kind of feature of Modern is that you can play all these different decks, and they'll all teach you different skill sets,
Yeah.
right? And one of the features of Tron, and I'm hesitant to say it's a bug, but I think previously people would have thought, well, you don't make a lot of decisions in the gameplay with Tron, so you don't have a chance to hit people with the old outplays,
It's not actually
But-
true.
I know it's not actually true, but and also how you mulligan and how you,
Mulliganing is the biggest takeaway from that deck
yeah,
you can have.
So,
And it's the most important thing when it comes to that deck. Like, keeping 7 rarely happens, to be honest. It's because I'm super unlucky. But you mulligan so much with Tron, and the biggest mistake a lot of people make playing the deck is they keep loose hands for absolutely no reason.
yeah, because they just don't want to mull.
Yeah.
They're just adverse to mulling.
Dude, round 1 of this tournament at the face-to-face open, playing against blue-white control. I mulled to 5. My opponent was like, oh, it's rough. I kept Tronland, Emrakul, and Ugin. I killed them on turn 4.
Right on.
Yeah.
What was your 5th card? Tronland, Emrakul, Ugin, and
Something. I don't know.
who knows? Star.
Actually, I might have mulled to 4.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I think it might have been 4. But yeah, I killed it. It was turn 4 or 5. He died. Yeah. I've won so many games.
Oh, I've watched it. I've
With
watched you
Tron
win on
mulling
Mulls
to
to 3.
3.
I've watched it, and you just absolutely annihilated your opponent. And I think it was you kept, I think you kept Tower, Mine, and Map, and you were like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's good enough. That's all you need. That's all you need.
I think you drew a Worm Coil,
Yeah.
and then you drew like 2 running more lands, and then you drew a Ulamog, and the game ended. And I was like, oh yeah, right on.
It's actually like there's literally zero reason to ever keep a loose hand with that deck. And since the scry rule became part of Magic, it's actually the scry rule was
I was
one
going
of
to
the
say,
biggest things.
is that actually one of the Vancouver Mulligan rule?
Yeah.
Is that one of the biggest boons for that deck? Did that
Yeah.
really? Do you think it made it that
It
much
made
better?
it made it so much better.
Yeah, I never really thought about how much that affected that
Yeah.
deck in particular. Because obviously different decks are affected differently by it, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, maybe Tron's one of
Yeah.
the ones that benefits most.
You're looking for 3 cards, and the rest of your hand doesn't really matter. That's
Yeah.
all that, and it's the deck mulligan. I honestly don't know if there's a deck that mulligans better than Tron does in the entire format.
I don't think there is.
It doesn't sound like it.
And yeah, if like it's if you're
So
looking,
what are you looking for? You're just trying to get Tron, right? You're
yeah, you're
just
just looking for
assembling
three cards, 3 pieces. That's all you're looking for.
and you just top deck the rest, right?
Yeah, 2 pieces is good enough. 2 pieces generally you'll have your entire deck is built around assembling Tron. So if you have 2 pieces in your hand, there's not many hands that have a Tower and a Mine or a Mine and Power Plant that I would ever mulligan. If there's sometimes if it's like, I don't know, just all your top end somehow and then your 2 Tron lands, even then you might keep it because the rest of your deck is just ways to find your other piece. So why wouldn't you? But
Right.
keeping like a 1 land hand or a land with keeping a hand with 0 Tron pieces is you'd never do that. Doing that's insane. Unless you have a whole bunch of sideboard cards in your hand that are like in a matchup against Burn. If you're keeping a hand that has a whole bunch of your sideboard cards, I can see that. Like I would keep a double forest hand with Tarmogoyf in it against Burn. For sure.
Okay.
But outside of that, you're just mulling. And yeah, so it's one of the biggest mistake people make with the deck. And you can as easily win on 3 cards as you can with 7.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, it's kind of funny because one of the things we were going to talk about today was the way in which these different modern decks that were all sort of throughout the top 16, not just top 8 of this tournament, all sort of reinforce different skill sets or play styles that you should work on. They really accentuate it. I mean, obviously, you still have to do all the other things right. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? It's just that certain modern decks accentuate, different skill sets.
Yeah, like if you want to focus on improving your mulligan decisions or like getting over a fear of mulling low,
just borrow
play
Tron.
Yeah, play Tron.
Borrow Tron, because I know deck and card availability is an issue, but usually in the Magic scene, hopefully you have friends or
Write on the back of some cards and play with friends.
Yeah, I mean, just stuff like that. But if you take it to an event, I'm sure someone will lend you a Tron deck. Just do a deck exchange. And I don't know if other people don't do this, but I think that we basically just do this without actually calling it anything. We just But if I ever want to play any deck, I can. You just borrow the cards, and you know what I mean.
Someone will have them.
Yeah, we can just trade for a weekday event. Like if I have X modern deck, I'm like, okay, like you play Ponza this week, Stelly. Let me play Tron.
Man, I know if I ever just played any deck other than Tron and Modern, just all those times I Tron people would come back to haunt me, and I would just lose to it all the time. There's no way.
That's just the justice of it.
All the evil I've done would come back and kick me in the ass. Which is why I can only ever play Tron and Modern.
Yeah.
It would just be like, my name is Earl. You got to go around to each matchup, like making amends.
Well, yeah. Oh, if you want to go play Modern, though.
Where could I go?
Yeah, where could you go play?
Well, let me tell you. The Wizard's Tower. Great sponsor of this podcast, wizardtower.com. Check them out for all your Magic single needs. Great content on their website. Lots of great Magic the Gathering product. You can get your Guilds of Ravnica singles if you haven't already. wizardtower.com. Free shipping on singles in Canada. And if you want to check out other great podcasts like the Commander's Brew, some articles, anything and everything, you can find it at wizardtower.com.
Yeah. Their modern nights always pop off though. Like Mondays and Wednesdays if you're a local in the Ottawa region or the national capital region. I believe 2 nights a week, and it's always busy. I know Wednesday's full all the time. It's like 35, 40 people there on a Wednesday just to play Modern.
Yeah, as of this recording, it's starting in half an hour. Probably going to get to the listeners a bit late, but check it out if you get time.
Yeah, and you'll see a huge diverse selection of decks. And I think they're all reasonable for that, right? And I don't know. The tuning one we were talking about with the mid-range deck as Death Shadow, I think is interesting as well, is that no other really Death Shadow deck was probably positioned because against Dredge, can you really sit there and just cast Serum Visions?
No.
Whereas this guy,
Are you serious? No.
Right? That's what I mean. But mid-range decks, they're the Jurassic Park, meme of Modern. Like life finds a way, right? rock decks find a way.
Yeah.
They'll change and then they'll adjust and just have more pressure, more consistency instead, so that they can attack the format how they need to. And I think if you're a rock player, right? I mean, sometimes it takes the radical shift of, okay, we're going to Death Shadow now because like I can't just play these Bloodbraid, Elf, Tarmogoyf, Dark Confidants anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you have like really bad matchups across the board, it needs like a radical shift. But back when like Jund or Abzan were popular, like usually their matchups are pretty close to like 50-50, pretty even, which is sort of the selling point of these decks. And so if you want to learn how to tune decks, if you want to learn how like minor card choice changes can like pretty heavily affect matchups, just play these fair decks. Try different cards. Like it can be really minor things, like changing a mana base so you take like maybe a little less shock damage can help your burn matchup or something.
Yeah. Add some tireless trackers. You want to grind people out. Add a bunch of Lilianas to your sideboard. There's lots of things you can change, right? Mid-range decks, that's the thing. They always have such massive flexibility in their ability, in the way they can attack a format. And I think this Death Shadow deck really shows that.
Yeah.
That the sort of core strategy of Death Shadow can cover such a wide spread, right? It can play this sort of long Snapcaster controlling air deck, right? That's sort of lean on threats, but high on filtering and consistency, right? And find what it needs eventually, versus sort of threat dense, aggressive versions like this one we see that won. And so it can teach you, it can teach you a lot about what the weakness is and how to adjust. And it looks like a radical shift, but really they're both just a shadow list, right?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting that it won. I think it's a good list.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you got to be quick versus Dredge. You got to be quick or you're going to be dead.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of this top 8, second and third place, Dredge, followed by Tron, and then 3 humans decks. And rounding out, we have Infect.
Was that Death Shadow list, it was playing Lily of the Veil, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Not Last Hope. I think it had Last Hope in the board.
Last Hope's, I mean, it seems like it should be better against Dredge, right? If you were actually expecting a lot of Dredge to main deck that card. Seems like plussing with Last Hope's dangerous, or with Veil's dangerous, but...
Yeah, that was Last Hope in the board, which is about what you'd expect. It's a good mix. I like this guy's sideboard a lot. So a few months ago, we had been singing the praises, 6 months ago probably, in a long time, we'd been singing the praises of Collective Brutality in the main, but Modern's just not at that place anymore.
Yeah.
There was a time when, at the time we were saying this, Jund was everywhere. Everyone was playing Bloodbraid Elf. Everyone was playing Humans and Burn and Pyromancer.
Yeah.
And Brutality was insane because it always killed something. It always gained life. Now it's just pretty medium. So I like it being in the sideboard of this deck.
Yeah. I don't ever want to play Brutality versus my Dredge opponent.
Yep. I don't want it in my main deck. I just don't want it in my main.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But yeah, the guy obviously had a good weekend, built his deck really well.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. I would change a few things probably, but generally really strong.
But there were some cool decks that popped up this weekend, like this Is It Spells deck that, let me see, finished 16th.
This is the Arclight Phoenix Bedlam Reveler.
Yeah.
Thing in the ice.
Cast a bunch of spells and make something big deck.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I like it.
4 Fiery Temper.
Yeah, you got to melt your thing in the
I
ice.
like playing 4 Manamorphose, just a,
Yeah.
free spell. Get back my Arclight Phoenix.
Yeah. That's the point.
Storm but not storming. This is the fairest storm deck. It's, just a fair, honest storm deck.
Yeah.
Storm without storm.
Yep.
This is
Just a light drizzle.
Yeah, the Bring Your Umbrella, 60% chance of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think this deck is sweet.
It's playing an insult to injury. That's wild.
Yeah, man.
Well, one main.
Opponent, don't want my opponent preventing any damage. Get out of here.
Yeah, just in case I get turbo fogged in Modern.
It's 2 spells in 1. Then I only have to cast 1 more. Come on, man.
What prevent effects are even in the format?
2 Alpine Moon.
Forge Tender?
What's the card in Ad Nauseam?
Why would this deck play Alpine Moon over Blood Moon? What am I missing?
Well, he only plays 1 island.
Okay, but you can fetch it.
Yeah.
You could just, not play Bloodstained Mires. You can play
Mana
blue
efficiency?
Up. It's got to be mana reasons.
It's got to be
cast Alpine Moon and then 2 other spells and get back your Phoenix.
Is Phoenix instant or sorcery?
Yeah, it's instant or sorcery.
So
you have to cast 3 other spells, but still.
You can't even get it with Alpine Moon.
Yeah.
Rip. Yeah, why is this not playing Blood Moon?
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe he opened these.
This is definitely a Cards I Own deck.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. There's been a lot of people
it's really cool.
exploring Arclight Phoenix in Modern.
And Standard.
Yeah. And Standard. Those decks are so bad. You seen the Standard Dredge deck?
Yeah, I saw. I lost to it.
You lost to it?
Yeah,
How?
I lost a match to it. My draws were very, very
What's this
bad.
Dredge deck?
It's like Creeping Chill, Narcomoeba, Arclight Phoenix.
Yeah.
That 1 mana, the 1 mana artifact that you mill yourself for 1.
The wand. Did I not talk
Oh.
about this last week on the podcast? And I said I was too embarrassed to. Did I not tell you about this?
No.
No.
Oh, I
didn't
told
hear about
Pete
it.
a few days ago. We were sitting at home. I was like, man, I just lost. I lost a few days ago to this deck, and I didn't want to talk about it for a few days because I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, no, I lost to it.
Just living in
The
shame.
wand that mills yourself,
And it plays the 2 mana
Okay.
the blue
enchantments.
enchantment that you also mill yourself, and then it Narcomoeba, Creeping Chill, Arclight Phoenix is you. I can't remember what else is in it, but I lost to it.
That's pretty much it.
That sounds like, I don't know, like reasonable payoffs except for Narcomoeba.
Hey man, I lost because I couldn't attack through this. I attacked through them, but they just chumped forever. And also, I was playing the Abzan deck that we were goofing around with. The one that similar to the one you posted in the Discord.
Yeah.
And I just had no pressure. You know what I mean? I just couldn't.
Couldn't do anything.
That deck's slow. That deck doesn't have a lot of pressure.
No.
Casting Carnage Tyrant on turn 6 or something. It's I'll get, they're at 32 from Creeping Chill. And they've been hitting me with an Narcomoeba, and then I just chipped down and died. Sucked.
Yeah,
I was like, man, this feels so bad. I'm just sitting there holding like a bunch of like really clunky removal. I'm like, oh, I got their phoenixes slowly. Like I Eldest Reborn back like a phoenix. Like still lost. I'm like, yeah, man, this sucks.
man, you had to go reevaluate.
But hey. To be fair, my draws were really bad both games 1 and 3. Not my fault.
Yeah, that deck sucks.
Agree.
It's real bad.
I don't know how that is a deck's win. Other than I will tell you that Niv Mizzet is busted in half. The versions that play them, not all of them play them, but there are some blue-red spells decks that play Niv Mizzet.
Niv Mizzet is so goddamn good. You can't play it because Golgari decks just have every like clean answers to it across the board. It's
Eldest Reborn, Chupacabra.
Chupacabra, Vivian.
Yeah, Vivian Reed. Man.
Yeah, those are annoying.
That card is...
Vivian Reed is so...
It's so good.
It's a lot better than I expected it to be.
It's incredible.
Considering how zero play it saw when it was first printed.
You know, it's basically just the Obnixilis model, right?
Yeah.
+1 draw card.
That's
Minus
exactly
kill
what it is.
something. But it's just in green. So it's just incredible. Because green doesn't have those planeswalkers usually.
It answers exactly what green is worried about, which is things in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And weird magic.
Man, yeah.
Get that strange brew out of here.
That card's like $28 now.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And sold out everywhere.
Yeah, that card's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's real good. I've been super impressed with Vivian.
So we remember previously we had said, we're kind of moving off topic of Modern by talking about this, but I don't
Whatever.
care.
We're Disorganized Wizard Club, man.
Yeah, it's on brand. We were thinking, previously that the Angels deck had a good tokens matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Until Cam boarded in Vivian Reads against me.
Yeah.
The card swings it a lot.
I beat the first copy, and then the second copy of Vivian Reed just annihilated me.
Mm-hmm.
Just like killed my Ixalan's Binding on his conclaves. So I was like, got him, right?
Oh,
Because I boarded in one copy of Ixalan's Binding and drew it, and I was like, right on. I like baited out a conclave, and I was like, gotcha. Ixalan's Binding his conclave, and then he just plays the second Vivian Reed, and I was like, oh, that's so bad. He like kills my Binding, conclaves my, Lyra, and then has a board with Vivian Reed. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just dead.
The card, it's been so unbelievably good.
It's good in like every matchup.
Yeah. And like at +1 is so much better than just draw a card.
Yep.
Like it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the decks where you're trying to, because one of the critiques I have of the green-black decks previously when they were just no planeswalker decks, and we talked about this on the podcast, saying like you should all be moving towards playing a bunch of planeswalkers, and like, hey, look what happened.
Yeah.
One of the critiques I had was the Wild Growth Walker, Jade Light Ranger. I said they're going to have to change or they're going to die, because the problem with before was you would not draw one of those things. Like you would draw them out of order. You'd have to commit to the board, but then you draw your Wild Growth Walker after you'd already played your Jade Light Ranger. Well, Vivian Reed helps you just find the Wild Growth Walker or Jade Light Ranger that you're missing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just does so much. Like
Finds your Carnage Tyrant. Yeah.
finds your Carnage Tyrants.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing 2 or 3, which you probably should be at this point.
Yeah. I've been playing a 1-1 split. Only because I only own 2 of them on Arena right now. But I think 3 is a good number, maybe.
3 is a lot, but I could see a world where
I've
it's
been
good.
liking the 1-1 split so far. But
Yeah, I think 2 main's fine. But yeah, Vivian Reed's crazy. But and that is the problem for old Niv Mizzet is that like Eldest Reborn gets it, Cabra, Reed, yikes.
Yeah, if your
Poor
plan
guy.
is to just play a Niv on 6 and hope,
Yeah, you're dead.
it's not going to go well.
Yeah. You need other ways to interact. He probably needs to be in a Grixis deck that plays other stuff on the way, like Bolus, Thought Erasure maybe.
yeah. Yeah, I can
That-
see that.
Or like,
Or like Grixis Fake News that plays Bolus and
Mm-hmm.
Niv Mizzet.
I don't have too much time spent on it, but like that or some deck where it's like one Niv that you're playing when you have like 12 mana and counter spells up.
Yeah, you have to, yeah.
And all you do is like not die, play Teferis, like trade Teferis for time.
Or you're playing Eldest Reborns so
Something,
that you
yeah.
played it on 5, got something, played Niv. If they kill it that turn, you
Yeah.
reanimate it the next. That's a pretty solid play pattern I can get behind.
Yeah, I agree. But
Just like the Death Shadow deck in Modern, you just got to adjust. You can definitely adjust your deck to beat the green-black decks, but definitely now that they've moved towards the multiple planeswalkers, they're much stronger.
we're that far along the road right now where they're just going bigger and bigger to
The old mid range
Yeah.
arms race. You'll
Yeah.
love to see it.
yeah.
One of my
love it.
favorite parts of any format.
Man. Yeah, the Abzan deck I've been playing. I built the whole thing online, and then I was just kind of looking over. I'm like, man, the only white cards I'm playing are Knight of Autumn in the main deck. Like,
Smart.
I feel like I'm like that. Is it worth splashing just for Knight of Autumn?
Probably.
So I added one Shalide in the main deck, and oh my god!
Okay. I have,
Oh, man.
before you post this list, I laughed because I've also been playing at different versions of Abzan midrange.
Yeah,
And I have been playing some white cards, and I've been playing 2 Shalai and 2 Trostani Discordant as as cards in the deck. And Shalai has been hilariously good, if only as a mana sink,
yeah,
where
Yeah.
I'm like, I have these like Merfolk Branchwalkers sitting around, and these guys just sitting around. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't have to tap out this turn and just pump with Shalai.
yeah. The first time I drew it, it was just kind of a board stall and a mirror match.
It's also a bigger body than I realized. Like,
Yeah.
4 mana, 3/4 flyer is pretty big.
Yeah.
Card's really good.
Yeah, I drew it. The first time I ever drew it, it was just in a board stall, and I like drew it. I'm like, oh, that's okay, I guess. I'm like, oh wait, it has text at the bottom that I'm just not used to ever using, and yeah, I won that game very easily.
Yep.
Been super impressed with it.
So I was playing different like green-black graveyard decks as well. I did the sweetest thing that
Which
I've done
was
so
what?
far in this format, which was in my, Glowspore, Molder Hulk, and whatever deck. I also had some Argos Bloodfast. I had 2 Argos Bloodfasts main, and I milled a Multani. So I played the Multani, and then I used a bunch of the lands to put myself low enough to flip the Temple of Aclazotz.
Yep.
And talking about Conley Woods sacking Squee, that's adorable. I was gaining like 13 a turn, just 12 to 13 a turn, sacrificing my Multani in the mid-range mirror when it was a huge board stall in green-black. You had like huge wild growth walkers, you know what I mean? We're just stuck, right? So I start gaining like 12 to 13 a turn. And when I'm at like 60, I'm like, I could use some cards. Like, okay, use Multani's ability, pick up Temple, replay it as Bloodfast.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. How sweet is that?
that's so sweet.
Yeah. The one of Multani, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
yeah.
That's the sweetest thing I've done this week for in Magic. That should be a section. What's the sweetest thing?
Sweetest thing I've done.
Yeah, that was definitely this. It's cool. It's a cool that's a really powerful interaction.
That is not an interaction I've thought about before.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was like, wait, because I was like, we were just running kind of top decking, and I was just gaining a bunch of life, picking up lands, replaying them, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't need life anymore. And I was like, oh wait, just sack this and pick this up.
Now it could
And-
just be cards.
yeah, no, you just play Bloodfast. This is insane. And then I won the game shortly after.
Wow, crazy.
I think I double find finality to like my Multani's like a 13/13. I can attack and he had like big wild growth walkers. So I just gave him everything -8, pump my Multani and then killed him. It was sweet.
Oh man, yeah. Standard's fantastic right now. I love it.
Hey, Modern's also pretty good, except maybe Dredge is miserable.
Modern, I did think Modern was good for a while, and now I'm starting to think
Starting to become wary?
Something might be up.
Dude, and is it spells deck top 16?
Can
I
we really
know.
say Dredge is that bad for the format with the Jeskai control players aren't bringing Rest in Peace?
I mean, did you see any Jeskai in the top 16?
They
Right,
got-
but like-
they got crushed.
But like, give
Yeah.
them a week to bring Rest in Peace back, and then they'll stop losing to Dredge.
I guarantee only one person was dumb enough to not put Rest in Peace in their sideboard.
I bet it was a few more.
Bold claim.
Huge if true.
I don't know. Jeskai Control is just such a bad deck. You just
But
shouldn't
people
play it.
think it's insane. People
I
like
don't know.
love it. I think it's trash too. I think it's really bad. I don't think Electrolyze is a card that you could convince me to play right now.
Did you see the Patrick Sullivan rant about it?
No.
There's a Twitch clip of him just being like, so Jeskai control is really popular. It's like a sizable percentage of the room for a Modern tournament. And my question is, what are your good matchups?
Oh, I think I did see that. Yeah.
Do you have any?
No.
That was their point, is that like
Yeah.
every win is a slog
Yeah.
and you don't have any free win matchups. You just,
Yeah. Like
That sounds miserable. Why would you ever want to do that? And
like at least I feel like blue white has some free wins.
if you can like Terminus creature decks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the deck's built to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's good.
Mhm.
But Jeskai, I just don't. Like, I don't get it. I don't think it's playable.
I don't think it is either.
And I think a tuning thing is similar to the Shadow versus like Jund decks in that you just have to abandon Jeskai and go to blue white. Although Blue White didn't really show up this tournament either. They got smashed. I wonder
Yeah.
if it's just they have such a hard time with Dredge and Tron, and you know what I mean? The format's so hostile to them.
Do they?
I don't know.
How
I'm not
bad
sure.
is Dredge for them, though? Because they have Terminus.
I'm not sure. I mean, Conflagrate's still an issue. There's a lot of issues. Dredge attacks from a lot of angles, especially now with Creeping Chill. Like they can do that a bunch, then only need to hit you once or twice with a Blood Gas that's hasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just attack from a lot of angles. But I'm not sure. Maybe I should go play it. I know a couple friends with the deck. I could probably borrow it and get some reps in with it because I haven't played it. I've played against it a lot, more in Legacy actually, because I play more Legacy in general. But yeah, maybe I'll go get some games in with the new Creeping Chill and you know what I mean? See what it's like.
Does Terminus slow down Dredge that much? Like,
Right, that's what I mean.
Put
I'm
everything
not
on the
sure.
bottom, fetch, shuffle, mill their stuff back into their graveyard, bring it back.
Yeah, like they just dredge so much. Like if they have a looting, right, and they just
No.
dredge 5 twice.
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm gonna go play it. Well, we could play it too online if you want.
I'm not playing Modern.
Smart play.
But yeah. And I think it's how you sideboard, right? Like we were talking about how that Just Guy player just didn't have
Rest in peace.
recipes in his board. And then he ended up winning just because the dredge opponent just got comically unlucky. But again, Modern, everyone says this, everyone knows this, is about sideboarding. And some of the decks in Modern will teach you the importance of this and how important it is. I think dredges, and that's why I sort of asked when we were going through the list, what are the sideboard cards, right? There's huge debates about what cards you play in the board to answer Rest in Peace. Because you want to have a diverse selection. You want to have your answers to Rest in Peace also be answers to other things. So Assassin's Trophy is okay. Obviously, Nature's Claim is great.
Nature's Claim, just all-star Modern sideboard card.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, those matchups of like the control versus linear deck matchup are really interesting sideboard wise because you see the sideboard or the control decks having these like haymakers, but then you also see the linear decks like sideboarding against those sideboard cards. So it's this like cool dance to watch.
Yeah.
And learning any of those matchups from either side will like teach you a lot about sideboarding and sideboarding theory.
What hands you can keep as a result. Like if it's even, do you just melt a rip, right? Because that's how it sort of is in Legacy. You just melt a Force of Will, Rest in Peace, and if not, you lose. So how extreme is that? But also, if you're on the control side versus dredge, right? What are they going to board into? And this guy in dredge had a cool idea, right? He boarded in 4 Blitter Blossoms as a way to beat Rest in Peace. Like I think that's a really kind of cool part of Modern is like, and Standard is this sort of like, yeah, I get you. Right? You swap things out. Standard, it's the Thief of Sanity strat.
I got smashed by a Legion War Boss in the control mirror. He just played it on 3 and my hand was like Contempts and 5 mana things.
Yeah, I think Jeskai control and Standard boarding into Jeskai mid-range is actually a sweet idea.
Mm-hmm. What about boarding into Pirates?
Yeah.
Like that one deck.
Yeah, dude, That's what I mean. Like that kind of transformative board is really important. And I think a huge part of Modern, if only because it's, again, just more accentuated in Modern. Things are just more accentuated here. Like sideboard cards are so impactful. Like Rest in Peace will kill you.
It certainly will.
So you need to have an extreme alternative, which is like, Bitter Blossom or something, right? So, and Creeping Chill combos pretty well with that too. Get your life back. So that's a deck, I think. These are both control and dredge are both decks that will teach you the importance of how to board, not to dilute your plan, right? Not overly, but also be careful enough that you don't just lose to, the classic, I lost to Blood Moon,
Yeah.
Some humans decks in this top 8 as well. 3.
Yeah.
That deck's not going anywhere.
No.
It's just so linear and strong. What happened to Banned Spirits though? There's like one copy in the top 24. I think, is this an NAEU thing?
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Is this one of the NAEU splits?
Humans
Could
versus
be.
spirits.
That you rarely see in Magic, but on occasion shows up that like X region is so much more likely to play these decks because in Europe you see Banned Spirits all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But in
the past 2 GPs, it's been all over the
it's
top.
won it, you know, but in NA it's like people just aren't buying it. They've been tricked by Geist to St. Traff decks before. You know what I mean? So they're just like, nah, I don't know about that, right?
Yeah.
they're just hesitant to commit to
Yeah, it's
Geist of St.
interesting. I
Traff.
don't
Yeah,
know.
right? But Humans is just so proactive, aggressive, fast, diverse in its answers, its threats, what it's doing, Meddling Mage.
Picking up, what's the card? Night of Autumn has been pretty good for them as well.
Yeah. The Hard rules.
Were they playing Rex Age before? They were, right? Like
Yeah.
1 or 2 copies.
Yeah. And I thought I'm just so much
So much
better.
more flexible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, the deck will just continue to get more and more flexible as time goes on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
They're going to keep printing humans.
and I think that deck is
That's very
interesting.
unlike real humans who
Just
become
one
less
copy.
flexible.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, as they get older.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they do yoga or something, I guess.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Yeah. Have you ever done yoga, though? It's hard.
I've stretched, yeah. I stretch all the time. I do mobility work consistently.
You're right. Same thing.
I mean, is it not?
I don't know. I'm not an expert. Are you?
Yeah, on stretching. Yeah, I do it almost every day.
I've never seen
I do it pre and post workout.
I've never seen anybody outside of like a yoga session employ the ability to make those shapes.
I'll stretch right now. Look at me go.
But like,
my wrist. Yoga.
so why do they need to know how to make themselves into those shapes if they're never going to use it?
Alex, I even wore a Lululemon hoodie here.
Really?
I didn't
It
notice.
has like a really expensive one too. It was a gift.
It was before anyone judges
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I
come
did
on.
not buy it.
Come on, yeah, come on.
I have no money. Come on.
Yeah. What do you think? I'm broke. You think you can afford that?
I mean, you do have a big professor job now.
Yeah, I mean part time. I work 60 hours a week, but I get paid part time.
Just trying to identify with your first year students who also wear a bunch of Lululemon.
Yeah. Hey kids. Drugs are legal now, so I don't need you. I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
Probably off topic.
We might have derailed for the last time.
But yeah, Humans is a deck I think that is worth playing if you're interested in sort of sequencing your threats in ways that line up properly for the matchup you're playing. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you have to push damage, sometimes you have to meddling mage accordingly, and so or you have to save Reflector Mage for certain things, right? How Match Threader works in the mirror. So that deck teaches you a lot about sequencing optimally, not just for damage, but for sort of controlling the board, right? It's a deck that I think really benefits from that, from playing really carefully with each creature you have.
Definitely.
Yeah, Modern can teach you a lot. I mean, Standard can right now, but Standard's just not as defined, right?
Yeah, it's still all over the place, but that's what's great about it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I think Modern's pretty good right now. I think like it's a fair spread of decks. And I think there's some play to it. I think it's quite strong actually still. I think Modern has been in an okay place for quite some time. I'm a little nervous about Dredge, but I think it's more of a flavor
Yeah, we'll see.
of the month thing. I don't think it just is a continually dominant force. I think it probably will be consistently strong, but similar to Legacy, where it shows up, wins something, and then gets pounded for the next like 8 months.
I mean, it does make sense that it came out in the numbers it did because it got a new toy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I mean. But it is a little disconcerting that Ironworks and Dredge both did well this tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, just get those rest in pieces going.
yeah. There you go. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think we can wrap this up.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining the club this week. Make sure, as always, you check out wizardtower.com for all your magic signal needs. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can find us on Facebook at the Disorganized Wizard Club Podcast or on Twitter at DWC Podcast 1. You can also find us on Patreon. If you want to support this podcast, become a patron, get access to the DWC Discord. You can find us at patreon.com/DWC Podcast. And however you listen to this podcast, whether it's on Podbean, iTunes, your podcast app, leave us a review, rate the podcast, share it with your friends. Anything helps keeping this podcast growing and bring it to new listeners. We'll catch you all next week.
Take care.
We never got around to talking about traffic safety.
Beep, beep.